Russian Garan UAVs are making very hard landings on previously identified Ukrainian positions. One 108th Airborne Division drone operators skillfully destroyed enemy vehicles on the front line in the Zaporizhia sector.
Don't forget to leave your opinion about the video in the comments, subscribe, and like.
FAB 1500 in action. The Ukrainian armed forces blew up a building that had been used for many years to store weapons in Donetsk. A Ukrainian drone was tracking Russian soldiers in an open field from the direction of Pokrovsk. One of the soldiers shot down the FPV drone with his last shot. He saved himself and his comrades. A Ukrainian soldier fell out of a minibus after a Russian kamikaze plane approached. He then ran to catch up with the vehicle, but failed. The vehicle sped off, leaving his friend behind. The man ran alone along the road. What do you think would have happened if there had been another FPV drone? An FPV drone belonging to Russian forces in the direction of Kherson detected Ukrainian soldiers and opened fire without hesitation. Don't forget to join our Telegram group. Russian forces destroyed an armored vehicle in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Russian forces found a large number of weapons belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces in Donetsk.
Граната натовского образца. Помещение осмотрено. Растяжек не обнаружено.
Northern reconnaissance units detected a pickup truck belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces moving from the village of Veseloye in the Kharkiv region towards Volchansk, where active combat operations are currently ongoing. The vehicle was destroyed. The epic destruction of the positions of Ukrainian forces' UAV operators in the direction of Konstantinovsky. Russian drones frequently detect expensive equipment camouflaged among trees, one by one. Then, professional FPV drone operators skillfully fly past all the trees and destroy the expensive NATO equipment one by one. Tanks, towed howitzers, self-propelled howitzers, mortars, and all other equipment you can think of are being destroyed in the direction of Konstantinovka. A Russian FPV drone was waiting in ambush in the middle of the road ignoring the nets surrounding Ukraine's roads. When the enemy vehicle arrived, it took off and hit its target. The 1st Tank Army is on duty. Several images show enemy vehicles being destroyed in the Novoplatonovka, Petropavlovka, Boguslavka, and Novaya Krugliakovka areas. Operators of fiber optic drones destroyed numerous pickup trucks during operations carried out at night and in the early morning. Russian soldiers go to destroy Ukrainian basement with anti-tank mines. Ukrainian FPV drone attempts to attack Russian soldiers. Russian soldiers cautiously move slowly towards the basement. Ukrainian soldiers and Russian soldiers confronted each other, and a hot clash broke out between them. One of the Russian soldiers went to the Ukrainian basement with a backpack full of anti-tank mines and threw it. Meanwhile, Russian soldiers opened heavy fire to protect his friend. The Russian soldier threw the bag and ran away. Here is the moment the anti-tank mine exploded. The Russian soldiers successfully completed the operation and set off to return. But at that moment, they were attacked by a Ukrainian FPV drone. They opened fire on the drone but could not shoot it down. The drone couldn't hit the Russian soldiers. It fell close to the soldier, but nothing happened to the soldier. Fighting continues in the direction of Kharkiv. Russian reconnaissance drones have uncovered a stronghold of the Ukrainian armed forces. Several kamikaze drones hit the fortress, where machine guns and ammunition were stored. The owners of the fortress, who thought they were safe, unfortunately succumbed to Russian attacks. As a result of the explosion of the ammunition inside the castle, a big fire broke out in the castle. The Russian Defense Ministry announced that the Supercam drone of the Central Group destroyed armored vehicles of the Ukrainian armed forces.
В районе цели. Есть, вижу еще один прилет.
In the Sumy region, the movement of the M2A2 Bradley used by the Ukrainian armed forces was detected. Then the first fiber optic drone took off and hit the Bradley armored vehicle. The second fiber optic came for the Bradley, which was not destroyed in the first strike, and this time the Bradley was destroyed in the second strike. You can also see other armored vehicles destroyed nearby. Objective image of the destruction of the bunker of the armed forces of Ukraine. Russian forces are advancing towards the Dnipropetrovsk region, destroying the defenses of the Ukrainian armed forces. First, a camouflaged mortar position of the Ukrainian armed forces was destroyed. Then, an airborne Baba Yaga heavy helicopter-type drone was shot down by a Russian FPV drone. Next, the Russian FPV drone shot down and destroyed the Ukrainian MLRS, which was camouflaged. 21st century ambush operations. A fiber optic drone sits on the ground near a logistical artery and takes off as soon as an enemy vehicle appears on the road. There's no chance of that. What do you think about drones ambushing vehicles or infantry? Torresk direction. Russian attack drone destroys an abandoned armored personnel carrier in one shot. Then Russian FPV attack drones destroy a Baba Yaga drone of the Ukrainian armed forces in mid-air. In addition, Russian drones shoot down enemy drones from the air using fishing line or something similar to fishing line. The fights in the air and on the ground continue. Anti-tank mines laid on the road are detonated thanks to the bomb dropped by the drone. On the same day, in the same direction, Russian FPV drones destroyed a large number of bunkers and trenches of Ukrainian troops. Russian air forces destroyed a crossing belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces on the Oskol River near the town of Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region. The destruction of a mined bridge in the Seversk region. Russian armed forces soldiers carried out a flawless operation to destroy an important Ukrainian logistics bridge in the Seversk region. As a result of precise and professional actions, the bridge was reduced to a pile of rubble. Bad news. It is now more difficult to transport supplies to the front lines. All plans for troop rotations have been disrupted. Transporting equipment along railway lines will now be a major challenge. Russian armed forces units continue to intensify their pressure. A drone crew from the 132nd Brigade of the Russian Armed Forces 51st Guards Combined Arms Army spotted a Ukrainian armed forces soldier hiding in a building. The Russians used an FPV attack drone to strike the target. The Russian soldier who recorded the video said, "Once again, we would like to thank the kind soldiers of the Ukrainian armed forces for not abandoning their fortifications and sending us these wonderful Western toys along with our land."
Вот такие подарочки гуманитарные представляет украинская армия в спешке, бегая
Don't forget to join our Telegram group.
от нас, от вооруженных сил Российской Федерации. Теперь будет работать на нас.
Operators of attack UAVs belonging to the Russian airborne forces destroyed vehicles and armored equipment belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces, an observation point, and a machine gun crew in the Sumy region. The location of a Ukrainian armed forces self-propelled howitzer has been identified. A Russian Lancet kamikaze drone armed with barrage ammunition struck the target with precision, destroying it. A camouflaged T-80BVM tank belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces was discovered on the grounds of an enrichment facility near the village of Novo-Ekonomikna. The Rubicon combat group destroyed the tank with several attacks using fiber optic drones. A group of Ukrainian infantrymen was spotted in the village of Pleshchevka and was moving towards the PVD. The Rubicon combat group struck the PVD with a KVN fiber optic drone. Target control was carried out by pilots from the 346th Special Forces Regiment. A Russian attack drone spotted a Ukrainian ground-based UAV during a reconnaissance mission. As it approached to strike the Ukrainian UAV, it spotted 3 Ukrainian soldiers hiding in a corner. The soldiers noticed the Russian drone and a chase ensued. Russian armed forces soldiers raided Ukrainian trenches. The soldiers in the trenches were first asked to surrender, but they refused. Following this, artillery and drone attacks took place. Once again, they were offered the chance to surrender, but they refused. In response, Russian soldiers threw backpacks filled with anti-tank weapons into the shelters. The shelters were blown up in powerful explosions. A Russian FPV drone encounters a Ukrainian soldier in a trench. The UAV unit of the Russian battalion's Atlant Company first detected and struck the shelter of the Ukrainian Armed Forces 44th Mechanized Brigade. Then, one of the Russian fighters approached from the other side and threw 2 anti-tank mines into it. Rare footage. The video shows a burning Kraz vehicle belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces pulling a weapon toward the front line. Result, it failed and burned. Later, the weapon was hit by an FPV drone. 3 Baba Yaga hexacopters shot down by the Ukrainian armed forces in the direction of Konstantinovka. There are a large number of helicopters flying here, working on the Russians. As a bonus from the 3rd Army Corps' drone fighters, we took control of one of the heavy helicopters shot down from the first person